To share more about the recipe for success on Snapchat, please help me welcome Director of AR Platform, Sophia Dominguez, and Head of Public Figures, Francis Roberts, to the stage.
Yeah, Sophia, I love creators, and I've been working with advertisers and creators for the last 12 years. In fact, my job at Snap is to help lead our creator partnerships team, which means I help brands like you partner with the tens of thousands of Snapchat creators from around the world who are committed to making unique, authentic content for our community. Total time spent watching stories from Snap stars grew more than 55% year over year in North America. Shout out to our creator partnerships team. And the reason this is because content from creators on Snapchat really just feels like a backstage pass into their lives. It's like watching something a friend made just for you. And I can't lie, that makes my job pretty fun too, right? And I just love what creators are doing here on Snap. And the relationship that they have with Snapchatters are becoming more and more important to the most successful campaigns.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of us being here at the greatest conference in the world, FutureLand, where we're interviewing great creatives, innovators, entrepreneurs, and those in tech. We have another great edition for you guys. We have this amazing young man sitting right next to me, and we had an interview before we even started, y'all. So y'all get in the back end of this joint.
Round two.
round two. Let's tell the people about who you are, man. What the phenomenal things that you do.
Yeah, so my name is Francis Roberts. I work over at Snapchat where I run our public figures team. So that means I help with music artists, young Hollywood, fashion and beauty folks, really helping them think about their business, how they can grow and optimize their opportunity on Snapchat. So
that's so dope.
Yeah,
and you pretty much have like a dream job. Would you say?
Yeah, it's a pretty good job. I can't lie. It's pretty fun. I get to work with some really cool creative folks, but also kind of take a business mind, an analytical mind, and I have this kind of interesting left brain, right brain thing going on.
Yeah.
It's meld those two into really good opportunities. And I love creative people. I love creatives. So it's a good way to really allow them opportunities to really kind of grow their business and things like that. So yeah.
So how'd you get in that position? Because most people don't understand, sometimes you might have to create a position out of thin air type ordeal. You have to portray that value in what you do. So how did you come to that position?
Yeah, so I think that the name of this conference, FutureLand, is very interesting to me because I'm sometimes just thinking about things that are happening in the future and how things are evolving and things like that. So I grew up in Detroit originally, and then I went to Howard University, HU.
Come on,
always gotta give a little shout out. And then, I worked in finance at first. I was a straight up investment banker in New York, living that life. And then a recruiter from Google reached out to me because, just kind of make a long story a little bit shorter, but in college, I worked at this bank called Lehman Brothers. They went bankrupt in 2008 with the whole financial crisis and everything like that. And so I started interviewing at places. And so Google was one of the places that I interviewed.
Oh, wow.
But then, basically, I went to work in investment banking. 4 years later, a recruiter from Google reached out to me being like, hey, you interviewed here 4 years ago. Are you still interested in opportunities? And I was like, okay, yeah.
Wow, 4 years later.
4 years later.
So they remembered you.
Yeah, and there's this lady I've never met her in my life to this day because by the time I started at Google, she was gone.
Yeah.
And so then I went over to Google where I was working there as a data analyst on a sales team. So kind of taking some of the knowledge and things that I understood in finance and applying it to an advertising world.
That's dope.
And so I did that for a number of years. And then I was like, hey, I want to do something more creative. I kind of grew up in the arts, dancing and playing music, things like that. And so I was just start having conversations with people being like, hey, what are other opportunities? What do you think is potentially interesting?
Yeah.
And then people were like, maybe you should think about YouTube. And so YouTube is owned by Google. So I started having conversations and found an opportunity to go work over at YouTube where I was working with the creators and kind of helping the top creators on the platform think about their business and things like that.
Yeah.
So after I did that for a while, Snapchat reached out to me like, hey, we think your background is interesting. We're thinking about building out opportunities for creators. Because 5 years ago, creators wasn't really a thing on Snapchat.
Right.
We're thinking it's really kind of a chatting app, things like that.
It's evolved.
Yeah. And we've yeah, exactly. So they kind of reached out saying, hey, we're interested in kind of building this out. And so would you come help us lead this team? And 4 years later, that's what we've been up to. So
come on now.
Cool.
That's so dope, bro.
Yeah, it's been fun.
I love they're being on the forefront of the wave that is inevitably coming.
Totally.
Content creators are a real job that people are pursuing and actually taking the time to learn more about.
Yep.
educate yourself on and just put the work in to become the top creators in the world.
Totally. And like that kind of like when I was thinking about like something like the future land and like the future of all
Yeah.
those things, like I remember when I first started at Google, like data was a thing, big data, using data to make decisions and things like that was becoming more and more a thing. And so I was a data analyst on like, like a sales team and things like that. And then I remember when I like went to go work at YouTube with creators, like my friends who maybe worked in like traditional like entertainment and stuff, they're like, creators, what are you talking about? Like nobody cares about that.
It was foreign to them.
Yeah. And I was like, well, I don't know. Like it's kind of like, but now like we're in a whole different world and like creators are like, if you want to go do traditional entertainment, they're like, but what does your follower account look like? What does it look like in your digital footprint and things like that? Because there is so much power in like owning that audience and having a direct relationship with your audience. And like, back in the day for entertainment, there used to be all these like gatekeepers who like five people decided what people would see. Now we all have like an opportunity to go and build something and really like get the opportunity. And so that's what I get excited about. I get excited about the democratization of media. How, we can all go and decide to like, go and put whatever we like our messages out and kind of find an audience.
That's so good.
Yeah.
So we're here at FutureLand, right? Let's talk about the future.
Yeah,
what do you see the future of content creation going forward?
Yeah. So, I mean, if I think about it, I think there's two things that, I will really think about is like, one, like everybody's talking about AI, which is really like generative AI, things like that. I think that there's an opportunity for that to make the job a little bit easier, right? To take away some of the repetitive tasks that you might have to do on a consistent basis, and really like allow you to free up some time to like be more creative. That's what I get excited about as it relates to like kind of AI, generative AI. And then on the other side of that, I think that, in social media, in a lot of ways, we thought it would make people like closer together, but in some ways, it's like created these divides where like there's this like kind of like crisis of like isolation. And so I think about augmented reality as a way to like help bring people together, where it's like, hey, like go out into the world and we can overlay technology on top of the actual real world. But it's less about being alone or being on your phone and your screen, but like how do we like find opportunities to like kind of like be together while experiencing technology together, right?
We could be here for another hour because I'm learning so much, man. But I know you're a man of your time is importance, though. So let me ask you this: with that being said, what are three things you would say to encourage the next content creator? What advice should you give them?
One, just do it. Right. Like, I think that a lot of people like, they like think about too much about the content, like, oh, is this perfect? Things like that. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be authentic. So really just like go and get out there. Cause like what's going to resonate with people is that authenticity, right? When you can see yourself in other people, when you can see and understand like, hey, like this is somebody who like looks like me or makes mistakes like me or maybe stumbles on words or whatever it might be. Like, that's cool. Like, go just get out there and do it, because that's what's going to really, I think, resonate with people in 2024. To be on Snapchat, obviously. Right. Snapchat is a place for creators. It's a place for, really like, to like, we've like really invested a lot of time and tools and opportunities for creators to go and like really find an audience on Snapchat. So I think that that's really important. And then 3 is just like, I know a lot of times people are like, you got to find a niche. But like, it doesn't have to be like that. Like, I feel like you can really like share the breadth of what your experience is. You don't just have to be about food or just to be about like, cars or whatever it is. Because like, how many people are interested in one thing?
Right.
None of us. We all have multiple interests. We're all like kind of actually like interested in like things like, I like shoes, right? Also I like fashion, right? But also I like cars. So like those things can all exist at the same time. And so like, it's really okay to like share all those different types of like things and content, with your audience.
Listen, so the most important question I want to ask you of the evening: where people learn, where can they follow you? Where can they learn more about you? Where can they, of course, they can go to Snapchat, but where can they learn more about you?
Yeah, I mean, so like you can find, about my name is Francis Roberts, so you can find me as Francis Roberts, on all platforms. I have a website, francismroberts.com. You can like check that out and find all those things. But yeah, that's me, Francis Roberts.
Listen, we appreciate you, man. I hope y'all had your notebooks out because I learned a lot in the time I got to spend you. Thank you.
Thank
for your
you.
time,
I appreciate
man.
this opportunity. Definitely.
Absolutely. Guys, listen, we are here at the amazing FutureLand, just talking to great people like Francis and just learning more. And if you aren't here, I don't know what you're doing, okay? Because you should have been here. But listen, if you didn't make it, come out for tomorrow is the last day. So we'll see you there, okay? Peace.
Peace.